Hi, I've made a decision. Tomorrow I'm starting something that I'm calling Raw in Motion. I'm going to immerse myself in raw and living foods for 118 days. And when I say raw food, I'm talking about a way of eating centered around fresh fruit and vegetables, leafy greens, nuts and seeds, alongside things like fresh green juices and smoothies. I'm actually going to start extremely simply for the first week, keeping the food uncomplicated while I settle into the immersion. I also have a dehydrator so I can make things like raw crackers, wraps and bread, using very low temperatures rather than conventionally cooking them. So in raw food preparation, temperatures are typically kept low, often below around 118 degrees Fahrenheit or 48 degrees centigrade. And that's with the intention of preserving more of the food in its natural state, including heat-sensitive nutrients and enzymes. So although I'm starting very simply this first week, as the journey progresses, I'll be able to get much more creative with what I'm making. And obviously, I'll share some of that with you. I mean, I love preparing beautiful food, so I'm actually looking forward to bringing some of that creativity back into my still unfinished kitchen. And I look forward to doing that with you. Now, this isn't completely new. Back in, I think, 2021, I actually completed 130 days fully raw. And I felt really great eating that way. My body really enjoyed the food in its natural state and thrived. But in a relatively short period of time, several things happened. I was dealing with significant work-related stress, so I was off work. I went away for a weekend and was walking my dog and broke my ankle. While I was away, my mum passed away and I couldn't return home for 3 weeks, which was pretty traumatic. So life changed. And understandably, so did the way I was looking after myself. I don't look back at that now and think I've failed, or even that, that somehow I fell off the wagon. I completed 130 days, and then I went through an incredibly difficult period of my life. Since then, raw and living foods has never completely disappeared from my life. I've done juice feasts, raw food weeks, and other periods of eating this way. But I haven't fully immersed myself again for a sustained period. And I feel ready to do that now. There's something that's different about this time. I'm not doing it to prove that I can do it, because I already know that I can. I'm not even calling it a challenge. I'm calling it an immersion, 118-day immersion. So for 118 days, I want to explore what happens when I choose to nourish myself in this way consistently. How I feel physically, mentally, and emotionally. How I move, what I notice, and what I learn about myself along the way. And also really how my body responds, especially as it has been in fight or flight for a long time. And as I shared with one of my early videos, I'm curious the impact it will have on my type 2 diabetes, my weight, my mood, my energy, my sleep, all of those things. So why raw in motion? Well, that's really where the name raw in motion came from. Raw is obviously about the food, but for me it also means being real, honest, even perhaps a little unfiltered. And in motion is about so much more than exercise. It's about movement through life, change, growth, not being static. So it isn't just going to be about what's on my plate. I mean, I will share some recipes, some juices and food with you, but I'll also share the reality of the journey. You know, how I'm feeling, what I'm learning, easier days, and probably some of the more challenging ones. And I'm not making any promises about what, happens after day 118 or day 118. That's actually really important to me. When I get there, I'll choose again. Maybe I'll continue, maybe I'll change things. I don't need to know that today. All I need to know today is that this feels right for me now. So tomorrow is day 1 of Raw in Motion. 118 days, not a challenge, an immersion. And I'd love you to come along with me. So until next time, be kind to yourself. Thanks for watching. Bye.